Hey guys, I want to welcome you to episode 14 of the Change Daily podcast with DeVory Darkins. Hey guys, on episode 14 we're talking about bad parents and how they have been ruining our society. Alright, so you guys might want to listen on this one for sure. Alright, so let's dive into it. What did I mean when I say bad parent? Are you a bad parent? Are you a bad father? Are you a bad mother? Only truly you can answer that right now, but depending on the age of your child, I'm sure when they get old, they'll definitely be able to answer that. And you know what? This really resonated with me. I've had some people that reached out to me, wanted me to talk about this, so I definitely felt compelled and obligated to bring this up because I definitely know what it's like not to have your actual mom and father in the picture. You know, if you guys don't know my story, don't know my father, my mom was heavily into drugs, was taken away from her. Fortunately, I was adopted by my great aunt, so my grandmother's sister, and unfortunately she passed away when I was 17. So it kind of leads into what I'm going to talk about and some things that you guys can take away from this episode and start applying it in your life today, so you can make the changes in your life today, right? So one of the biggest things is that you guys have to start understanding is, you know, at a very early age, your kids start to learn what is right and what is wrong on, you know, obviously on the most simplest things, but also they start taking after patterns of what you are doing as a parent. So for an example, you know, if you are on food stamps, if you are always on unemployment, if you are a father who never can keep a job, well, what do you think the kid is going to know when they get older? That's what they're going to know to do. You know, if you guys are always watching Netflix and doing a lot of things that don't bring value to the home, what do you think the kid is going to do when they get older? All right. Now, from my own personal experience, and you know, my mother, she was amazing, one of the most successful people I've ever known. You know, she never really taught me about money. You know, because she never really taught me about money, you know, I had trouble in my 20s when it came to money. You know, I would always blow it. I wouldn't make the right decisions simply because I lacked the knowledge and the education on how money worked and what I should really be doing with my money. And that could easily have been avoided had she taught me about money. You know, now what she did teach me was about work ethic. Anything I wanted, anything I wanted to do, I had to work for it, you know. Now, I was raised where I was always outside, you know, either cutting the grass, maintaining the rose bushes. You know, I was inside dusting off her antiques, cleaning the house, doing the dishes. So it was always 24/7 chores with her. But the one thing that I got out of all that was a crazy work ethic. You know, I always usually outwork everybody. I haven't met anybody who's worked harder than me. You know, that's just what it is. But I contribute that to my mother, you know, and so my thing to you guys is, what are you showing your kids at home? You know, if you're a dad out there and you're never there for your kids, what example are you showing them? You know, that kid is going to struggle when they become an adult because you're not there. So you need to start taking ownership of that reality, you know, regardless of whatever excuse you're coming up with in your head, like, oh, I need to work, I don't have the money, I don't have the time. Guys, make the fucking time. Wake up an hour earlier and go see your actual kids if you guys don't live in the same home. You know, go down to the school and wish them a great day. Like, there are so many things that you can do. Skype them, for Christ's sake. You know, Snapchat them. Do whatever it takes to show presence in that child's life. And if you're not doing that, if you're a father or a mother, then you're just doing it wrong, man. And you are being counterproductive. All this hard work that you're doing, slaving away at a job where it takes you away from your kid, is counterproductive. Your kid's not going to care shit about, oh, well, you know, she was able to put food on the table, or he was able to put food. No, they're going to care about were you even there in the first place. You know, I'd rather starve with my mom and my dad than eat till I'm full by myself. I mean, that's just the reality. And kids are smart, man. Kids are so smart. They're too smart for their own good. You know, so if you're young and you just had a kid, listen to this message, man. Don't think that you're just going to be able to slave to the end of time and never be there for your kid. Like, you can't think that way. You need to come up with a plan right now to make sure within the next 2-3 years, you can start always being around for your children. You can you can start putting things in place to be able to wake up earlier and spend time with your kids, pick them up from school, do their homework with them. But if you're always working, I mean, what example is that really setting for your children, you know? And again, like, I go back to my father, who was never there. I've had to learn a lot of things the hard way. You know, I've had terrible relationships with females because I didn't have a father, you know, and I've had to learn the hard way with that, you know, and if my father was there, then I might have not been too sensitive about certain things. You know, I would have been able to handle things a little differently. Maybe my father would have taught me different things. Now, my mother, she was definitely more than my father ever could have been. So let's just say that right now. You know, and you know, she made me who I am today. And the military definitely helped me out with whatever was left. But my point to you, whoever's watching right now, is if you're a mother or a father and you're not there physically, in their face, whispering in their ear, telling them the things that they need to hear, then you're doing it wrong, man. Especially if you're the parent who's like, well, why do you keep doing this? You never listen to me. You don't do this. You know what you're doing right now? You're speaking in negative terms. All that's going to do is continue to tell them to do the same thing. You guys do the same thing. If you're my kid and I keep telling you, you need to stop doing that. Why do you always keep doing that? Why do you always keep doing that? Like, what? I'm a kid. I'm going to be like, I don't know. You're not telling me what I really should be doing, or you're not getting my mind focused on the things that I should be focused on. Like, if this is over your head, I mean, you really got to start really doing some work right now, all right, mentally. And what I'm talking about right now is you as a parent reaching inside that kid's subconscious and start planting those positive seeds. Start planting the things that you want your children to believe in. But if you're always complaining, if you're always nagging, if you're always screaming and fighting, you're building that into your children's subconscious. That's all they're going to know. And when they get older and they have relationships, they're going to project the same things, right? So you as a parent should be reaching inside that kid's subconscious and telling them the things that they should be hearing. For example, let's say your kid is not very confident or not very athletic or not really interested in sports or whatever the case may be, and you start to see that they kind of second guess themselves. You need to be in their ear telling them the opposite. Hey, you are amazing. Hey, you have great things. You are very intelligent. You are going to accomplish great things. People are going to respect you. You should be repeating this over and over and over into their ear. You need to believe it on an emotional level about your kid. That way they can, on an emotional level, believe it. You think you're just going to tell your kid, hey, you know, you are the greatest kid, you know, and just say it with some sarcasm? No, you back that up with emotion and your action. You look them in their eye. You put your hands, that energy that's inside you put them in them, and you're telling them, hey, you are amazing. You're smart. You know, you're going to go off and do great things. People are going to respect you because you're not like everybody else. You know, like, you need to be in the subconscious of your children, you know, and that's why I want to talk about. There are some parents out there, they're just downright bad. They fucking suck. They just suck, you know, and it's not, it is their fault, but at the same time, like, they got to start taking ownership and they got to make changes within them so they can make changes within their kids. I mean, you got parents out there complaining about their kids. Why don't they start looking at themselves in the mirror and what they're doing wrong? I mean, you out there screaming and yelling and fighting and only saying negative words in your children's ear, and then you wonder why they don't listen to you. But if you're doing more positive, if you're using forms of meditation or forms of what I like to say, which is, you are what you think. So if you keep telling your children to think a certain way, they eventually will become that way. Especially when you're incorporating the emotions behind it. Like, hey, you are smart. Okay, it doesn't matter that you keep getting C's or B's. That's not going to define you. What's going to define you is that you're always going to show up. You're never going to quit. People are going to respect you because of your work ethic. Listen, I was never a straight A student. Never a straight A student. I was always B's and C's. But one thing my mother was always telling me was, you going to get out there and you need to start working your ass off, because ain't nobody going to respect you if you can't work, if you can't show up. Nobody's going to respect that. And if you don't know how to talk, nobody's going to respect you. If you don't have any common sense, if you don't even have any street knowledge, people are not going to respect you. This is all she would, 24/7, 365, every single day. There was a lecture that she was always telling me, stand up straight, look people in the eye, shake their hands, say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. Hey, you are a smart individual. You need to act like it. Okay? It doesn't matter about your grades. What matters is you're going to show up and you're going to keep working hard at it. That's the stuff that she was telling me. Not, well, what? I don't understand. Why do you keep getting C's? Why do you keep getting B's? What's wrong with you? Guys, where's that going to get your kids? That's not going to get anybody anywhere. Look to your left and your right. What if your friends started talking to you like that? Would that make you do anything? Really? Is that going to fix your problem? Or is that person that's inside you, right? I always talk about, we have two people inside of us. We have the winner and we have the actual loser, which is our enemy. And that loser is constantly telling us why we can't do something, even on the most basic stuff. Oh, well, I'm supposed to work out today, but I woke up 10 minutes late, so it doesn't make any what? That's what the enemy's doing. He's going to tell, well, it's too late, or it's going to take too long, or you don't have enough money, so you're going to wait, or, you have to wait for the perfect circumstance. Listen, people, the winner is about doing shit right now. Action taker. Taking massive action right now, not wasting any time, not waiting. They're actually going after it. And so that's what I'm saying. It's the same thing with your children. You have to talk to them and start speaking to the winner inside them and stop speaking to the loser. All right. So I just want to communicate that with you guys. Again, this podcast is about making you more successful in all phases of your life. If you really seek success in your life, you really want to find ways to better yourself, and you're a parent, you should just rewind this podcast over and over and over, because I'm telling you, from my own personal experience, and you see it right now with yourself after probably listening to this, you're doing more harm than good if you continue to speak to the loser inside of your children. All right, so I want to wish you guys massive success as always. This is the Change Daily Podcast with DeVory Darkins. Every day we're going to be releasing content to help you and your success in your life. And just, leave your feedback, share it with anybody else that you know that can benefit from this. And like I always love to say, peace and love.